The Rams suffered their worst loss in the Sean McVay era, choking away a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter. We're going to hear from Puka Nacua as he responds to the controversy, to the criticism about his actions in the stream and his comments about the referees. Also, just minutes ago, Puka Nacua was fined by the NFL. We'll get into that. We'll hear from Sean McVay and how the Rams can still get the 1 seed in the NFC and what their path to the Super Bowl looks like right now. Lakers get a big win yesterday against the Jazz. Luka Doncic, triple-double, 45 points. We'll talk about the Lakers and an update on Cody Bellinger and Kyle Tucker and a ridiculous ask by Cody Bellinger and his agent, Scott Boras. That's coming up next on the LA Sports Report.
LA is the sports capital of the world. The Lakers have entered their Luka Doncic era. LeBron doesn't just want a farewell tour, he wants a farewell title. The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Go, Kings, go. The Dodgers are the best run franchise in all of professional sports. Shohei Ohtani is the GOAT. Steve Ballmer will do anything to get the Clippers a championship. Mick Cronin has to win a national championship at UCLA. Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league. College football is just better when USC is good. This whole city has the Mamba mentality. I love LA.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is the LA Sports Report with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Los Angeles, and welcome to the LA Sports Report, the fastest growing LA sports podcast show on YouTube that covers all LA sports. I'm loyal to the soil. Rams, Lakers, Dodgers, UCLA, USC, Sparks, LAFC. Go Kings, go. If they're talking about in the world of LA sports, we're talking about it here on the LA Sports Report. So if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. Getting close to 5,000 subscribers in a month. Once we get that, we're going to do another giveaway, Luka Doncic jersey. A lot of really awesome giveaways coming up. So join the movement. The LA Sports Report also, if you are a fan of the Rams, you're going to find a lot of Ram content here. A lot of Rams. The Ramily can join here for highlights and breakdowns, stuff that I don't do for my other shows. So you probably know me from covering the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation, the Rams for Locked On, do sports radio for the NFL for Westwood One on Sundays. And this is the spot if you're new. All LA Sports. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. So give me a follow and subscribe to the show. But let's get right into it, because last night it was the game of the year in the NFL, and it certainly lived up to the hype. It looked like the Rams were going to run away with it, a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter, and then they collapsed. I hate to use the C word. I hate to do it, but the Rams choked that one away. And it could have a very catastrophic effect on the rest of their season. The Rams should have won that football game. The Rams were the better team yesterday. But unfortunately, some of the problems that have hurt the Rams this season continue to persist. And that is absolute dumpster fire of a special teams unit. That's what flipped the game. And I've got the 5 plays. I've got the 5 plays that really changed that game and led to the Rams losing. And now the Rams go from what should have been a 90% chance of finishing with the 1 seed and getting that first round bye to now that's down to 20%. So from 90% to 20%. Now, instead of having to win just 2 home games at SoFi Stadium to get to Levi's, to get to the Super Bowl, instead of 2 home games, you're probably going to have to win 3 road games against tough opponents. If you win the next 2 games, you are going to probably have to go to Tampa Bay and play an 8 or 9 win Bucs team on the road as a 13 win team. So we'll get into the ramifications. I'm going to tell you how the Rams can still finish with the 1 seed. But first, let's talk about last night's game and everything that transpired. There's so much to unpack in this one. And I think it comes down to 5 critical plays, 5 critical moments that led to yesterday's loss, that led to one of the most improbable losses in Rams franchise history. The Rams were 323-1 in games where they had a 15-point or more lead in the fourth quarter. Now they're 323-2. So the first play that really hurt the Rams yesterday, I think in the grand scheme of things, was the absolute ridiculous penalty on Dedich, where it should have been a touchdown to Terrence Ferguson. They end up saying it was a legal man downfield, and clearly he was pushed into the end zone. That should have been a touchdown. There's no doubt about it. Just take a look at this play and tell me how ridiculous this is. The NFL that has really been terrible this season when it comes to overall officiating, you take away points like this for a penalty that should have never been called in the biggest game of the year. This is absolutely embarrassing for the league. Take a look at this. A ridiculous call by the Zebras.
Terry, not often do you see illegal man downfield from the half-yard line. What happened here?
You don't, and this really isn't a foul. He blocks a defensive line on line, and he can drive in as far as he wants. He comes off contact, and the defender actually pushes him by him and forces him beyond that yard. So it really isn't a foul for him being illegally downfield because of that action.
And yeah, I think Sean McVay agrees with you 1,000%. So does Stafford. 7-3.
Just a ridiculous missed call right there. The Rams having all the momentum, the offense moving the football, and you get Terrence Ferguson making plays with Devontae Adams out with that hamstring. A terrible missed call. Now, the second one, you got to talk about the Rashid Shaheed 58-yard punt return for a touchdown. Yet 8:03 left in the fourth quarter, makes the Rams lead shrink down to 8, a 30-22 lead. And it looked like the game was over. After Kobe Turner, after he was able to put together his best game of his career, had a sack and a half, had an interception. Ethan Evans punts 43 yards to Shaheed in the middle of the field. There was no one in a 15-yard radius to make that tackle and wrap up. And he goes down the Seattle sideline. He breaks past Darion Kendrick. He breaks past Jordan Whittington. And then you are able to get in the end zone. A 58-yard punt return. Chase Blackburn, get that LinkedIn ready. And this could be a fatal mistake by Sean McVay. Sean McVay should have fired Chase Blackburn a long time ago. And from my sources, I heard that, Chase Blackburn might be the best golfer on the team. And he's a great guy to be around. Awesome. You guys can be friends still, but that does not mean he deserves to still be the special teams coach for the Los Angeles Rams. The special teams operation has been an unmitigated disaster. You look at this entire season. Look at the 4 losses for the Rams this year. Most of them have come on the last play. You look at the Eagles loss, a blocked field goal returned for a touchdown. You look at the missed kicks, the missed plays in the rest of these games. You look at the 49ers game, look at the Panthers game, and you look at yesterday. Not only do you have a missed tackle and you're just not able to be within the same zip code of Rashid Shaheed, you can't make a 48-yard field goal. It's just an absolute disaster. There's no excuse for that type of special teams play for Los Angeles Rams. For a team that's as buttoned up, that cares about every single aspect of their roster build, to not have a kicker, to not have a special teams unit that can wrap up on Rashid Shaheed, it's ridiculous. How about this? If you guys can kick a football and you are in the LA area, please show up at SoFi Stadium tomorrow or show up in Woodland Hills at the Rams practice facility. Tryouts are at 9. Because the thicker kicker, everyone was celebrating, including myself. But the truth is, last night, Harrison Mevis had his first kick where there was something on the line, where he was facing some pressure, and he missed a 48-yard field goal. It wasn't a 58-yarder. It wasn't a 68-yarder. It was a 48-yarder. An NFL kicker needs to make that kick. And if the Rams lose early in the playoffs, if their season doesn't go the way they think it should, Chase Blackburn absolutely needs to fall on the sword, and he needs to lose his job because he has done a bad job with this unit. And it's not just the kicking game. It's not just the punt coverage. How about the fact that you're giving the Seahawks field position at the 35 essentially the entire night? It was just an absolute disaster. There's no way to defend it. Okay, next big play. And this is the most controversial play. I have been watching football my entire existence, okay? And I have never seen a 2-point play like the one we saw yesterday. With 6:23 left in the fourth quarter, the Rams up 30-28, and Sam Darnold, he throws it back. It ricochets, ends up in the end zone.
Right now.
And then just look at this play. Sam Darnold throwing it, little screen, and Verse, he gets his hand on it, and it looks like the play's dead. Cameron Curl's there, Kobe Turner stops, and Zach Charbonnet gets his hand on it, and the 2-point conversion was ruled that it was successful, and that ends up tying the game. So Verse gets his hand on it. You see the ball bouncing, goes through Cameron Curl's hands, and yes, did the whistle blow? It did. But that does not rule the play dead. It doesn't. I mean, you still have to, even though that's going to impact the way guys are going to play, I can tell you that all these guys are coached to fall on the ball. And Kobe Turner, he took blame for this after the game, and it gives Zach Charbonnet credit, football IQ 200, for putting his hand on the football. But this was just a play that, first of all, it was improbable. It's something that you never see. And the fact that you don't have the presence of mind to at least fall on that football, it cost you. And that ends up tying the football game right there. On one of those improbable plays that we have ever seen. Just absolutely crazy. The game had everything yesterday. I mean, it's unfortunate if you're a Rams fan and you have a lot of rooting interest in it, because otherwise you'd be celebrating what was the most insane game. It's like that meme where it's the Rams and the Seahawks on a random Thursday in December, Robert, and then they show the intro of John Cena and The Rock at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Like the Rams and Seahawks on a random Thursday in December, and it's like this incredible game, and you have really weird fluky plays. I mean, that's just one of those plays. Is like the Fail Mary in Seattle. Just, was it lucky? Sure. I'm just not sure there was indisputable evidence from all those angles. And it was lucky, but I think it was an assist by the refs there. I mean, this is just a strange play. And Sean McVay, who typically he can handle every question and is not going to throw profanity and obscenities around and explicitives and things like that. When he was running off the field after the game, he said it to JB Long for the Rams radio network. Hey, I never see anything like that. He didn't think that was the right call. And here was Sean McVay after the game, who had to answer questions about that. But also, Sean McVay was asked about the Puka Nacua situation. So here was Sean McVay after the game.
Something out, kind of taking like a bailed shot there at the refs. I mean,
what are you talking about?
You just put something out on Twitter a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, so what are you asking me right now?
Are you okay?
I can't answer questions about something that I'm not aware of.
Okay, but are you okay with players kind of expressing frustration over things like that? Or is that something that you hope that they kind of keep to themselves? And
I got to have more information before I answer any of those kind of questions.
What conversations have you had with Puka about his live stream this week?
Yeah, he was very apologetic. I don't think he understood the totality of some of the things. I think he issued that apology. I know this guy's heart, and for anybody that was offended, terribly sorry about that. I know he feels that same exact way. He's a young guy that's a great kid that's continuing to learn about, just the platform that he has. I love him. We're going to continue to put our arm around him and help him learn and grow. but we never want to do things that ever offend anybody, and I know he feels that same way.
How about those guys coming onto your property at the facility in a short week as you're preparing for the biggest game?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that stuff. They came on our property.
They were outside the parking lot.
He said on the live stream that you were mad.
I was? I don't think, no. Did he say my name?
He said, boss man. I assumed that was you.
It wasn't me. Yeah.
Did it feel like a distraction this week?
No, it wasn't a distraction at all. Did you think his play showed that he was distracted? I didn't think so either. He went off today. He didn't. And you know what? And I apologize for. You know what? I love this team. And man, when you put out as much as our group does, and you care so much about something, and you come up short, it's incredibly disappointing. But as it relates to just the things that you're asking, you know, we always want to make sure that we handle ourselves with class, learn from it. I'll put my arm around him and continue to educate our guys. I love this team. I love his heart. I think he's going to continue to grow and mature. And I'm going to be there right there with him to continue to help do that. As far as
So you can see, I mean, my man was red mad. I mean, he was absolutely incensed. I think about the question. I mean, look, you play the best football game and you're a part of the most dramatic game of the year. And he's asked about something that wasn't involving that game. And we'll talk some more Puka in a second. But when he was talking about that play that was in question and the overturn there and the 2-point, McVay said, quote, "It was very interesting, and you can see it right here. It didn't get a clear explanation of everything that went on just because of the timing of it. I've never seen anything or never been a part of anything like that, and I've grown up around the game. I'm not making excuses. We don't do that. I don't believe in that. It doesn't move us forward, but we do want clarity and an understanding of the things that we can do to minimize that when we rejected on that 2-point conversion." Now, the funny thing about this is, yes, you're always taught, see the ball, get on the ball. And there's a tons of Rams players around that could have gone to that football before Zach Charbonnet. And everyone's giving Zach Charbonnet credit, right? Football IQ 200, this and that. My man was just being polite. My man was just trying to get the football for the ref. If he thought that ball was in play, he would have dove on it. So, look, I think that one thing we can all accept here is that luck is a very underrated aspect of winning in the NFL. It was just so insane to see that. So insane to see that. And hey, you got to move on. And when it's 30-30, you still have a chance to win that game. So the next play that I think had the biggest impact on this one, we talked about the Harrison Mevis field goal. I still think that's right up there. You miss that 48 to 30-30 game. It would have put the Rams up 33-30 with 2:11 left in the fourth quarter. You still had multiple chances to win this football game despite that punt return for a touchdown, despite that 2-point conversion. You had a 51-yard drive. You're at the Seattle 29. The kick looked like it was going in, and then it ends up getting pushed right. Just an absolute disaster. And then the next play that we got to talk about is a play that you're probably not going to talk about as much as the 2-point conversion, the punt return for a touchdown, but it was the defense on the 2-point try for the Seahawks that won the game. With 3:13 left in overtime, you had Omar Spades. He comes out of zone coverage to follow the running back right out of the flat. He gives up the middle of the field in the end zone, and then Sam Darnold goes through his progressions, and then he's able to hit Saubert to end the game. The Rams defense gave up 30 points for the second straight game. You weren't getting pressure from Byron Young or Jared Verse. Kobe Turner had a great game, but that exposes the secondary. And the other thing that I think you have to talk about as far as why they lost this game, as far as did the Rams get outcoached in this game, is the 2-point attempt. The 2-point attempt that did not happen. Because when the Rams go up, when you kick that extra point early in the fourth quarter, why aren't the Rams going for 2 there? I screamed at my television 2 times yesterday. And it was involving 2-point conversions. One in the fourth quarter and then one in overtime. Let's start with the one in the fourth quarter. The Rams score a touchdown to go up 29-14. Puka Nacua, 1-yard touchdown reception. Rams take a 29-14 lead with 13:34 left in the fourth quarter. And instead of going for 2 to make it a 3-score game, they kick the extra point, and then that makes it a 30-14 lead, a 16-point game, and it makes it a 2-score game. Why did they not go for 2 there? I don't know the explanation. And that's why, look, I get it. Reporters, the Rams beat. I get it. The biggest story is about Puka Nacua. But can we talk about football? Can we talk about what transpired in this game? Yes, Sean McVay 15 questions about Puka Nacua. You asked him 30 questions about Puka Nacua and what happened leading up to this game. But now we don't know what actually were his thoughts and his strategies and his decisions in this game. No one asked Sean McVay why he didn't go for 2 there. He should have. And then you jump to overtime where the Rams march down the field. They receive. Puka Nacua gets the big touchdown. You take a 37-30 lead after the kick. Why don't you go for 2 there? Because the truth is, if you go up 2 there and you go up and you make it a 38-30 game at that point, and you go for 2 instead of going for 1, well, then you put the Seahawks in a position where you have to score a touchdown and get the 2-point conversion. And even if you do, Matthew Stafford still has 3 minutes to work with to get a field goal or to get a touchdown. Because if they tie you and that game ends up in a tie, the Rams would have still had a 69% chance of getting that 1 seed as opposed to a 20% chance. So yes, it's hindsight. There's no doubt about it. But even if they went for 2 and it's a 36-30 game, the Seahawks still have to go down the field and get a touchdown and get an extra point. So the touchdown really hurts you. And the way that Rams defense was so gassed, not getting pressure, Jackson Smith and Jigba, he was getting hot. You already had a 58-yard run from Kenneth Walker III. The Rams giving up 9.5 yards per carry yesterday. I think they set themselves up for failure. So this was just one of the worst losses that I can think of for any LA sports team, let alone the Rams. Let me tell you how improbable this loss was. The Rams last night, they became the first team in NFL history to gain 500 plus yards and win the turnover margin by 3 and still lose the game. Before that, teams were, checks notes, 93-0 in the regular season when they've gained 500 plus yards and they've won the turnover margin by 3. Oh, it gets better. Teams that put up at least 550 yards and had 0 turnovers were 175, 22-2. The Rams just the 23rd team to lose like that. And teams that have had at least 400 yards with 0 turnovers, 0 sacks taken, and 3 takeaways were 79-0. The Rams are the first team to lose a game like that. The Rams invented a new way to lose a football game yesterday, and it was absolutely painful. Now, let's get positive here, okay? I don't want to be Dougie Downer, right? Let's spin a positive here. It's the holiday season. Let's get a little more positive. Santa Claus can give us the 1 seed, hopefully, because right now it looks like last night, they're 1 seedless in Seattle. And I don't want to see that for this Rams team because I think they're a special group led by Matthew Stafford, who may have lost the MVP last night, even though he had one of his best games of the season. So how could the Rams still get the 1 seed? Listen up. Crunch some numbers this morning. How could they still get the 1 seed? Well, the odds, like I told you, are at 20%. They need the Seattle Seahawks to lose in the final 2 weeks of the season. The odds will go down to 14% for the Rams if the 49ers beat the Colts on Monday night. So this is not just a Seahawks thing. This is a 49ers thing. Think about this. The Rams have gone from the 1 seed to 5. And if the 49ers beat the Colts. That 20% goes to 14%, and they drop to 6%. So the Rams went from being the driver's seat to like they're hanging on to the bumper, and they're trying to get into the trunk. And right now they're basically somewhere in between that. So right now you look at it, where the Rams are sitting, the Seattle Seahawks for the last couple games of the season. We know the Seahawks can lose a game. We know it. Like, it's definitely something that's possible. We know that the Seahawks are a team that is a good team. We know, I think they're the second best team in the NFC. I still think that the Rams on their best day should be able to beat the Seahawks, should be able to beat the Packers, should be able to beat the Bears. But you just put yourself in a tougher spot. There's no doubt. You put yourself in a tougher spot. But how could you still get that 1 seed? Well, the first thing that you need to happen is you need those teams to lose. You need those teams to lose games, and you need to win your final 2 games. So you essentially have to hope that the Carolina Panthers, that the Colts, that the 49ers, that the Seahawks can slip up, and then you got to take care of business yourself. We'll get into more of that next. I'll break it down for you a little more. But let's first hear from Puka Nacua. And then we'll get to that. Because I think the big story outside of just the game is the fact that Puka Nacua, who's established himself not just as a great receiver, as arguably the best receiver in the NFL. Last night, Puka Nacua balled out. He was incredible. He had his best game really as a pro. Puka Nacua had a 92.5 PFF grade. It led all players on the field. That's how good Puka Nacua was. He was just absolutely outstanding. Absolutely outstanding. Over 200 yards receiving, getting in the end zone twice. He showed up, showed out. There was critics there waiting for him to have a bad game. And if he had a bad game, everyone's say, oh, Puka Nacua, big distraction, Puka Nacua, all these things. They were waiting to jump on him. They absolutely were. He ends up catching 12 of 16 targets, a career high 225 yards, had his second multi-touchdown game of his career. Bad week off the field, great week on the field. And of course, after the game, Puka just can't help himself. He goes to Twitter, and then what does he do? He tweets out something about the refs. And he says on X, he says, can you say I was wrong? Appreciate you, Stripes, for your contribution. LOL. And what does he do? He deletes it. And then we just learned minutes before the show that the fine is out. The NFL has fined Puka Nacua $25,000 by the league for criticizing officials. And this was for his comments when he was on the stream with Neon and Aiden Ross, where he said the refs are the worst. These guys are lawyers. They want to be on TV too. You don't think he's texting his friends in the group chat like, yo, you guys just saw me on Sunday Night Football. That wasn't PI, but I called it. I mean, these guys are normal human beings. And I'm not even necessarily thinking that Puka Nacua is wrong. I don't know if you saw the referee when he confirmed the catch after Cooper Kupp got his feet in bounds. That was a little extra. That was a little demonstrative, but still, Puka's got to learn from this. And $25,000 for an NFL player, you would think is a drop in the bucket. But this is Puka Nacua who's saying that he can't afford a house in LA and he's made $1 million and after taxes and this and that. So, hey, it's more of the reputation that he has now and how referees are not going to be happy about his comments. And hopefully he gets officiated the right way. But here was Puka Nacua in the locker room after the game, answering questions about his controversial week and his tweet after the game. Here's Puka.
Did you feel the need to tweet about the officials again?
Just a moment of frustration. After a tough, intense game like that, just thinking of the opportunities that I could have done better to take it out of their hands. Just a moment of frustration.
What specifically was the tweet commenting about?
Just the opportunities that we didn't take advantage of. Some of the moments that we put in the officials' hands, I just felt like we could have executed to not put ourselves in those situations, and I know that's something that we'll improve on.
What moment felt like it was in the officials' hands?
Just some of the 2-point extra plays and some of the opportunities where our defense had executed, make them snap it one more time. But yeah.
What kind of conversations, if any, have you had with McKain regarding what happened during the week?
Coach has just echoed that he's always in continuous support of me. He's just disappointed in some of the actions that are just distracting my teammates, and some I know I'll learn from, and some I know I don't want to be a distraction in any week, and especially in a short week. So we had talked about that, and he's right there behind me.
Did it feel like a distraction this week?
I enjoy playing this game of football. I do everything I can in the week to prepare myself. So. Just there's definitely some noise, but I wouldn't say distraction.
What did you learn from this mistake?
Just there is a time and place for some things, and there are comments that I should definitely say to the guys in the locker room, and to be aware of the situation that we're in, but then also just to stay and use every moment to prepare for the week.
Your position, for a massive extension coming up. Do you feel like kind of episodes like that can detract from your ability to cash in?
I try to do my best to continue to prepare and help my teammates and help this team perform on the days that we're needed, and that's something that I know I can continue to do, and to show that to our organization.
Couple more guys.
Tough is it to get over a loss like this where you guys lead by 16 points in a whole.
I think, it goes back to some of the moments that I mentioned earlier, of just the opportunities we have to take the game out of anybody else's hands. We have those moments to continue drives in the late third quarter and early fourth quarter where we're not executing on third downs. And I know those moments are some of those third down calls are coming to me. So I will go back and look at the tape, and I know I'm my biggest critic, and the guys around me will help get us each other better, and I'll be able to perform.
In the live stream, you said that you believe the referees were sometimes making calls to be shown on TV.
No, I don't. There's just a lack of awareness, and just in some frustration. I know there were moments where I feel like, man, you watch other games and you think of the calls that some guys did, and you wish you could get some of those, but that's just how football is played, and I'll do my job in order to work my technique to make sure that there's not an issue with the call.
All right, thanks, guys.
So give him credit. I mean, he's standing up there, he's taking the questions, he knows that he's kind of acting out. He's kind of rebelling a little bit. He's kind of in his rebel stage, and he's doing things that the organization, Sean McVay, doesn't want. But Sean McVay wrapped his arms around him, had his back, and said he's going to have a conversation with Puka Nacua. And I can firmly say that I don't think this is going to be anything like an Antonio Brown situation. Anytime Antonio Brown did one thing, it's only a matter of time for the next thing to happen, right? This is a different situation. This is he's done multiple things, right? He's gone live in the locker room, and he wasn't supposed to. And then he did the streaming drama, and then he tweeted after the game. And then, of course, there was the dance, and he released a statement. He has done things that are regrettable, no doubt about it. And I'm not buying, though, he's young, he's 24. No, he's got to learn, right? He's a superstar. And when you're a superstar, that comes with extra responsibility. And he certainly needs to focus on football. And the thing that frustrates me about Puka Nacua is that he's so good that it should be about celebrating the fact that he's a 5th round pick. That was not just a 5th round pick. He was the 4th pick in the 5th round for the Rams. And he's emerged as a top flight, top tier receiver that's in that conversation with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, Jackson Smith and Jigba and CeeDee Lamb and all those guys. And he's done as a 5th round pick. And he went from one of the most likable guys in the league that everyone loved and respected to now he has haters. And I hate the fact that he has haters. And yes, $25,000 is not going to kill him, right? He's got his salary that he's going to get paid at some point. He's going to get a big bag. But he did say, Puka Nacua did say that he can't afford to be a homeowner in LA at the moment and has to rent an apartment. He was the 5th round pick. He's set to make $1 million this year. He has to pay $520,000 in taxes, so he's going to bring home $480,000. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's another reason to be motivated to not do these things. So Puka, It's time. Put the shenanigans away. Let's focus on football. Keep the main thing, and everything is going to be okay. And I really feel that way. And I hate to see this, but hey, the good thing is he absolutely balled out. All right, now let's talk about that path to the 1 seed. How could it happen, right? Rams fans, sky is falling. Season's over. It's improbable, but it's not impossible. The Rams, like we talked about, if they didn't blow that 16-point lead, they would have been in the driver's seat. Now they're down to 20%. So what has to happen? 1, they have to win their final 2 games against the Falcons and the Cardinals. And if they do that, they need some help from the Panthers, the Colts, and the Bears, or even the San Francisco 49ers. The Rams need the Seahawks to lose one of their last 2 games to the Panthers or the 49ers. And it's not going to matter which one, because in that scenario where the Rams and the Seahawks are both 13-4, the Rams have the tiebreaker based on the division record against common opponents. Now, if the Seahawks drop one to the 49ers, the Rams will need the 49ers to lose one of its next few games. So even if the 49ers lose, and even if the 49ers help the Rams by beating the Seahawks, in that scenario, you also need them to lose one of their next 2 games to the Colts or the Bears. So you need the 49ers to come through, but you need another team to come through to beat the 49ers. So there's no scenario where the Rams and the 49ers both finish 13-4. Well, because the Rams, they win the tiebreaker because San Francisco, they're going to have a better division record. So that's the thing too, is the 49ers are a threat. So here's a simplified version of it. So the Rams, they beat the Falcons and the Cardinals. They finished 13-4. The Seahawks lose to the Panthers. They beat the 49ers. And the 49ers, they beat the Colts and Bears and lose the Seahawks. And the Bears win or lose to the Packers, lose to San Francisco, and win or lose to the Lions. So basically, you need the Rams to go 2-0, the Seahawks to go 1-1, the 49ers to go 2-1, the Bears to go 2-1, and boom, we forget about this loss because the Rams are back to being that 1 seed and back to having home field advantage all throughout the playoffs. So you need the 49ers, you need the Seahawks, you need these teams to come through and lose in different ways. But if the Rams finish 2-0 to end the year, they beat the Falcons, they beat the Cardinals, Seahawks go 1-1, 49ers and Bears go 2-1. The Rams will still have that NFC West championship and the 1 seed. Is it likely? No. Is it impossible? Also no. So that's where they sit on that. But got some comments in here. Welcome to the LA Sports Report. Let's see what we got here. We've got Claudia. That's exactly what I was thinking after Antonio Brown. Chuck Jones says Puka has screwed the Rams. They are never getting a 50-50 call or getting anything go their way as long as he plays for them. Chuck Jones, first of all, relax. Okay. It's not going to be that serious, because if you can prove that the officials are either swallowing their whistle or they're throwing flags and it's biased because of Puka Nacua, they should absolutely lose their jobs. I mean, there's money involved in this. There's television, there's radio, there's shows, there's people that bet on this. So they would get fired immediately. But I think that it's certainly going to be on their minds subconsciously. But hey, if they're professional, they're doing their jobs, that should not be an issue. BC says ineligible man downfield at the 1 yard line. Yeah, that was one of the most bogus, asinine, ridiculous calls I've ever seen in a big game in the regular season. There's no doubt about that. We've got BC. Does he normally dress like that in post games? I do not know. He does have an interesting sense of style, though. But yeah, he looked like he was going to like a wedding or something. Like he was going to a, I don't even know what he was going to, a wedding. But interesting look for sure. Chris K, he opened his mouth and it will cost him, and the team will be punished for its stupid Puka, shut your mouth and play ball. And McVay, where's your team's defense? They couldn't stop a college team. Where? Yeah, I mean, they couldn't stop a nosebleed yesterday late in that game. And I think they were gassed. And you definitely need to, I think, play with a little more aggression if you're Chris Shula. We see when they're winning comfortably, you see cornerbacks, you see DBs giving receivers 10-yard cushions, and they're rushing forward, not getting pressure, and it invites teams to march down the field. And we saw that yesterday. I think that one of my big takeaways from yesterday's game is, hey, if you're Sean McVay, if you're Chris Shula, and you're Michael Floor, you almost have to manage this game from an execution and play calling standpoint, knowing that you're going to have to bake in some special teams errors throughout. Because one thing all great championship teams have is they're great all three phases of the game. Or at the very least, they're average to good, and one area can make up for another area. Well, now we know it's a championship offense. We also know there's some questions whether or not it's a championship defense. And we know right now they're absolutely not a championship special teams. So that is kind of where they're at. I mean, there were times in the season, hey, is the defense the foundation? You're missing Quinn Lake. Akella Witherspoon's trying to make his way back. So that's the truth. We got Pika P says Rams had a Ray Finkel moment last night, eh? LOL. Hey, laces out, baby. We've got Nando. Puka slowly turning into how annoying Trevor Bauer is. I really hope that Puka just takes this as a ultimate learning lesson and he just focuses on football. It really, really is what you want to see. We've got Not a Real Thing. We got Claudia in the chat. Honestly, can you blame random things? This is from McBlaze. Honestly, can you blame random things like that 2-point play, but really the Rams defense and the special teams that led up a punt return lost the game for them? I couldn't agree more. And here's the thing. The truth of the matter is even with the 3 straight 3-and-outs in the fourth quarter, where they were throwing the football occasionally, even with the defense going conservative and playing a bend but don't break style that invites teams to come back in games, even with that, if the special teams just did their job, even with the missed kick from Harrison Mevis, if they just defended Rashid Shaheed and didn't let them score by taking 10 seconds off the clock and making an 8-point game, they still win yesterday, even with their style. And then you're celebrating a team that really has a great chance to get to the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. I will say too, though, let's not forget in 2021, they had to beat the Cardinals. They had to go on the road and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa Bay. And then you beat the 49ers and then you get to the Super Bowl. So, hey, like Vin Scully said, he said this about the Dodgers, nothing in LA ever comes easy. It's the same thing with all of our teams, right? You want to take the hard path. You want to make life harder, and then you can do it. But all right, let's switch gears. Talk about the Lakers. They get the win yesterday. It was a big game for LA to just pound that Utah Jazz team points wise, but they also gave up a lot of points. There was a little injury scare for LeBron James where he said that he dodged a bullet. So let's look at some player grades. Luka Doncic was outstanding. And you got to start with Luka Doncic, my favorite Laker to watch since Kobe Bryant. Luka Doncic last night, 45 points, 11 boards, 14 assists, 14 dimes, Rob. 5 steals, 1 turnover. Goes 14 of 28 from the field, 4 of 12 from beyond the arc, 13 of 16 from the charity stripe. I mean, these are just absolutely video game gaudy, ridiculous type of digits that you're looking at. A 45-point triple-double, and you're on the road in Utah. I mean, this is why I've got him as a legitimate MVP candidate. You see the year that Shea's having, and Giannis and Wemby and Joker and some of that top tier. But Luka Doncic, he takes a bad seat to no one. He certainly is tier 1. And he is someone that has MVP level talent. Lakers got to win a lot of games. He's got to stay healthy. But my favorite thing too, it's not just the 45 points. The Kobe in him is, I'm talking smack to that Jazz bench, right? One of my favorite Kobe trash talking moments was when he was sitting courtside with Gianna. He's wearing that orange WNBA hoodie, had the Eagles beanie on, and Luka is inbounding the ball, and he hears someone. He's like, "Hey, who's that talking crap to me? Who's trash talking me in Slovenian, in my home language?" And he turns around. Of course, it's Kobe Bryant, who somehow, some way knew how to talk trash in Slovenian. So he gets an A+ yesterday. Let's call it an A. An A+ game for him is probably 60 and up now. But yeah, an A game for for Luka yesterday. Rui, 13 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 block. I think that you want to see him do more. The defense, the rebounding, he needs to get better. They've been below average all year with that. Defensively, some of the miscues he had a moment there in the fourth quarter where he had his defender just left him to try to make that steal from LeBron, and Rui, he just gave LeBron just no warning. And Utah, they get the steal, they get the basket, and LeBron is angry at Rui. So yeah, Rui, it's a focus thing with Rui, man. We know he has the talent. It's the focus thing. Just lock in every single play, every single moment. Jackson Hayes. How about Jackson? 16 points, 3 rebounds, a turnover, 7 for 7 from the field. DeAndre Ayton was out, but Hayes stepped up in a big way, was dominant at times, 7 for 7. And I love the fact that he is fully invested in that role as that backup. And you're looking at the center position. Remember, it was Anthony Davis wanted a center. It was a weakness. I'd argue that the center spot is one of the strengths for the purple and gold this year with DeAndre Ayton, the year he's had so far, and Jackson Hayes fully embracing that role as a backup center. I give him an A for sure. Marcus Smart, how about 17 points, 4 boards, a dime? Give him a solid B+. I think offensively it was a good night. I think you saw as a group, defensively they struggled, but he gave you the offensive side that you needed. How about Jared Vanderbilt? 7 points, 11 boards, and assists. Got to give Vando a B, hit a 3 against his old team. You always want to see that goes 1 for 2 from beyond the arc. How about Jake LaRavia? Got that nice alley-oop. I think defensively, it's been respectable. Give him a B. Maxi Kleba, 5 points, 2 boards, and assists. Let's give him a solid C-ish. But hey, Lakers get the win. LeBron James thankfully does not get injured. And that's definitely a very, very positive win for a team that is really just looking to hang pace, build chemistry. And LeBron said that when that collision with Jazz rookie Walter Clayton Jr., that he rolled up on his left knee inside, and it was that same knee that he hurt in the playoffs. But thankfully, LeBron is okay. Trade season is upon us, by the way. Trade season is upon us. Going to have my man Sam Quinn from CBS. He's going to be on next week. And that's the big question. I mean, the big question about the Lakers is, how are they evaluating their internal talent, and what do they think they can realistically get on the open market? Can you get a guy like Herb Jones without giving up pieces of your core? Austin Reeves coming back, having a solid stretch towards the All-Star game and making that All-Star team. Do you find some way to upgrade this roster and get that 3-and-D wing? I think that's kind of the big thing too, for sure. We got some comments though. Puka can't even buy a house in Riverside. That's from Roseman Carino. Mario, Lakers kryptonite is fast and young teams. Yeah, I mean, that's the nature of this game. This league is getting younger. You need athleticism, and that's, I think, one thing that you need from an acquisition standpoint is, can you get younger, can you get more athletic, especially at that wing position. The shirt is fly today. People are loving the shirt, man. Roseman says, D-Mac, your hat matches your shirt. Very nice.
There you go.
Hey, I got to give my homie Bailey at Travis Matthews. He's my plug. Hooks your boy up for rocking these on the show. You know, I got all the solid colors. I got the kind of the flower, the green vibe. You know, Rob, we got you on camera because you're pretty fly today too. You got a pattern too, man. What we got on for you?
I got that Robert Graham situation going. Actually, let me see if there we go.
Bam. There we go.
Boom, boom.
There you go. He's killing the game. What do you think about Luka last night, Robert?
Oh, man, Luka was great. I mean, this is the Luka we always wanted to see, so it's like a real relief to see him get back in the game. Of course, like you said, Vando. When you get Vando in threes, when you get the bench moving the way that they was moving, it was good, We just need improvement on the defense. That's the biggest thing the Lakers need right now.
No doubt about it. I mean, if you can stir things up on the defensive end, this is a different team for sure. But anyway, you get a win, though, and it was another night where Luka put on a show. And that's what makes this team so entertaining. And I think LeBron still getting his legs back. I mean, Lakers are fine. I think that they're just in evaluation mode. And right now, if I told you that you could get a 19-7 Lakers team behind the Thunder and the Nuggets this deep into the season, based on some of the injuries, not having LeBron, working in new guys, you would certainly sign up for that. So, hey, I've been impressed. But all right, switching gears, talk some Belly and Tucker. I know I got the Dodgers fans in here. And the first thing I want to talk about Cody Bellinger is there is some reports out there that Cody Bellinger is looking for an 8-year deal. An 8-year deal worth $400 million. Look, I know that Cody Bellinger is a player that has had success in this league. He's won an MVP. He's versatile. And he kind of looks like there's been a lot of people suggesting that he always looks high. And I've always defended him that no, that's not who he is. But if you are Cody Bellinger and you want an 8-year deal worth $400 million, Cody Bellinger, are you high? Pass that this way. Because he's looking for superstar money as a fringe all-star at this point of his career. I mean, that makes no sense whatsoever for Cody Bellinger to think that he could fetch that kind of contract. And I think the bigger takeaway here is, yes, even Scott Boras, even Cody Bellinger, $400 million in monopoly money might be too much for Bellinger. But even if this is a ridiculous ask, the big takeaway in all of this is that this is going to be a long winter for the free agents at the top. If Kyle Tucker wants $400 million, if Cody Bellinger wants $400 million, they're going to have to play the waiting game. It's going to take some time for them to have their market stabilize. And what this is going to do for the rest of Major League Baseball is this is, in effect, going to slow down the trade market as well. Because I can tell you from Andrew Friedman, when we were in Orlando, look, I mean, one thing he said behind closed doors was, we're waiting for some of these guys to kind of fall off the board as far as free agents go. And then that will, as a result, that will accelerate the trade market. So some of these teams that are looking to make trades, whether it be for guys like Jarren Duran or Wilyer Abreu, Brendan Donovan, we heard Lars Nootbaar yesterday, Byron Buxton is not available according to the Twins brass. But the truth is that when the free agents are gone, teams that are still looking to address needs, they're going to start listening. And when you start to listen, then you start to kind of look for different avenues to make deals happen. So if we're waiting around for Cody Bellinger to sign and he's looking for $400 million, I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, that's just absolutely absurd. I mean, a lot of the projections for Cody Bellinger this offseason, it was something in the 6 years, $180 million. 6 years, $165 million. Does he think his name is Cody Bellinger Soto? Cody Bellinger Ohtani? I mean, this is kind of wild to think. And the Dodgers, though, as far as it pertains to Cody Bellinger, are one of 3 teams that are believed to be the finalists for him. It's the Yankees, the Mets, and the Dodgers. So the fact that the Dodgers are hanging around, it lets you know that maybe there's a world where if he does not get the offer that he's looking for from the Yankees or Mets, that he wants to be on the West Coast. I mean, there's some talk. His family likes it out here. His wife, of course, is a model. She, of course, you would expect want to live in a coastal-like city and things like that. You get that in New York, you get that in LA, and you look at the rest of this market, there's just not a lot of budget there for someone like Cody Bellinger. I mean, the dude thinks he's 2019 Cody Bellinger, apparently, when he's dealt with injuries throughout his career. He's dealt with long slumps, and the numbers will tell you that he's not a $400 million player. If Cody Bellinger is a $400 million player, Shohei Ohtani is a $400 billion player. Okay? Like let's get realistic around here. And I talked to Scott Boras about Cody Bellinger in Orlando, and he said, look, he loved being a Dodger. He wanted a World Series. He wanted MVP. He loved it here. I don't know how much that's going to impact whether or not he takes some type of a discount. But you look at his numbers, hitting 272 last year. He ended up hitting 29 home runs, most of those coming outside of Yankee Stadium. So basically, if you are a Dodgers fan that had designs of Cody Bellinger, well, either he's going to have to slash his price by more than in half, 70%, for him to become a Dodger. But Kyle Tucker is one that I find more interesting because the word is that Kyle Tucker also wants a $400 million deal. And Tucker, is he at $400 million? That's something that at least is somewhat believable. I mean, you look at the winter meetings and what Juan Soto got, what Aaron Judge got, what Carlos Correa got. I mean, Kyle Tucker at least is a player that you could say is a top 10 to 15 player in this league. But if he doesn't get $400 million and he wants $400 million, so his $400 million is something that is not ludicrous. If he had the year that he was having up until the injury this season, he could have put himself in a position to, at the very least, get high threes, 375 to 400. But if he thinks he's a $400 million player and he won't accept 300 to 350, then that tells me that he'd be considering going back, signing with a team, short term, high AAV with opt-outs, and then re-entering the market at 29-30, and then putting himself in a position to sign a 10 or 11-year deal. That's something that's realistic for him. Is it for Cody Bellinger? Absolutely not. For Kyle Tucker, though, that's where I think that the Dodgers stuff is not completely ridiculous. The Dodgers and Kyle Tucker, they start to make sense when you get this news that he wants $400 million. But the word from insiders and Alden Gonzalez, he said this morning, quote, if there's one team willing and able to give Kyle Tucker the $400 million he seeks in free agency, it's the Toronto Blue Jays. So if they're willing to give Kyle Tucker $400 million, the deal they just gave Dylan Cease, would they be willing to get Bo Bichette and Kyle Tucker and commit somewhere along the lines of $800 to $900 million this offseason? I think that's a stretch. So if I'm a Dodger fan right now, I want the Blue Jays to sign Tucker for $400 million. That's what I want. Because if that happens, then what do you do with Bo Bichette? That opens the door and kind of clears the path potentially for Bo Bichette to the Dodgers, who I think would be my number one addition. If I had to pick between Cody Bellinger, Kyle Tucker, and Bo Bichette, I'm taking Bo Bichette number one of that group. Edwin Diaz was my number one free agent target because I think it was a combination of need plus realistic option. But number two behind him is Bo Bichette because I think he can rake and I think he can absolutely help this team beyond this year, gives them a shot in the arm as far as youth. He's nasty. That look he gave Shohei Ohtani, that's to me not a reason to not want him. That's a reason to want him because I want dogs, baby. I want dogs on this team, Dodgers dogs. And Bo Bichette certainly is cut from that cloth. He's got that dog in him, and I think he brings a level of spice and fire and electricity to this team that, I mean, the dude's one of the best hitters in baseball. And the dude absolutely rakes. And I like the fact that he said that he's willing to move to second base. That opens the door because you got Mookie Betts playing shortstop for you. But think about this. Last year, Bobby Witt Jr. finished with the most hits in Major League Baseball. 184 hits for Bobby Witt in 157 games. Behind him, Luis Ariz, 181 hits in 154 games. And then it was Bo Bichette, 181 hits, but in 139 games. And 582 at-bats compared to 623 for Witt and 620 for Luis Ariz. So, hey, I want Bo Bichette's my new top target now that Edwin Diaz is a Dodger. Give me Bo Bichette. All right, let's read some comments out here. We got Ray Velasquez. How about them 49ers? How about them 49ers, man? Get those VHS tapes ready, right? If you want to watch the 49ers Super Bowl, get those VHS tapes ready. Last time they won was it when it wasn't number one show, it was Friends, ER, I think Nirvana was popping, but no. Bang Bang Niner Gang, right? Bang Bang Escalator Gang. No, it's all fun. By the way, I will say this. I have absolutely zero problem. I have zero issue with the Dodgers 49ers fans. I think it's awkward, but your team's your team. Your team is your team. If you're truly invested in a team and you watch that team, when they're losing, you're not happy. When they're winning, you're happy. It's tough to change that. I mean, look, for me, I want to represent LA. I don't want to say, I never want to, this is my number one thing. I never want to hear the song I Love LA from Randy Newman and make me unhappy. And the truth is, if you're a Dodgers fan, when you hear Randy Newman's I Love LA, it means the Dodgers won. You got a walk-off. You got a big save. You saw Hae-Sung Kim cross home plate and you beat the Phillies. You saw Freddie Freeman get a walk-off grand slam or a walk-off home run in game 3 of the past World Series. I Love LA brings you the best moments, right? And it shouldn't be that way for the other way around, right? Where I Love LA makes you think, oh, the Rams beat my 49ers and things like that. But let's do some comments here. We got Muad'Dib69. I want to see the Dodgers versus A's World Series. Yankees last repeat. Blue Jays prior repeat. And then the A's are prior 3-peat. Also, so funny if in Sacramento. That'd be awesome. That'd be great. By the way, there's been a team that has 4-peated. It was the Yankees from 1936 to 1939. We got to Joseph Lackey. I believe if Bellinger hadn't hurt his shoulder, maybe he would have been that kind of player. He's good now. Maybe 4 years, 140 million, 8 years, ridiculous. Joseph, you hit on the nail. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, could not agree with you more. And Kike Hernandez, he hurt Belly's shoulder. Hasn't been the same from a power standpoint since. By the way, Kike Hernandez, man, when Miguel Rojas was on the show, Kike Hernandez, he told us that Kike hugged him so hard after that double play in game 6 that he had to get treatment. He was scared he wasn't going to be able to play in game 7. So Kike, the way he celebrates, man, can we do just an air high five? Can we do an air high five for sure? Claudia, I'm not sold on getting back with an X. D-Mac, yeah, for sure. We don't need Belly from Sapper. Adrian Cardone, what about the update on Teoscar? They were going to trade him for Tucker or Cody. Well, Adriana, they're not trading. So Cody and Tucker are free agents, so you can't trade for them. I've heard that Teos is pretty safe at the moment. I think that they would have to sign a guy. Things would have to happen. Like if Kyle Tucker falls into their lap, for example, do you keep Teo and left? I think they will. I think his bat's is too valuable. Claudia, LMFAO, 0 chance he gets that. Alex Ranter, I wouldn't want the Dodgers to sign Tucker for that amount, let alone Belly. Bottom line. Yeah, no, for sure. There's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the LA Sports Report. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, and drop some comments down below. Dodgers fans, lots of Dodgers talk over here, interviews, everything here. This is your one-stop shop for all LA sports. So love us before they all do, guys. Getting close to 5K subs, so thank you so much for rocking with us and being the day ones. Being our day ones, right? So I love it, guys, and enjoy your weekend. We'll be back next week. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Special thanks to my man, producer Rob, always killing the game. We might do some post-game shows this week, so look out for us. We got my guy Rob right there. Yeah, my guy Rob always represented. Laker. Rob, who's your favorite Laker of all time?
It's also Kobe Bryant, man. You know what I'm saying?
Easy answer.
That's my goat.
Easiest answer. Kobe, man. Hey, this whole city's got the Mamba mentality. Yeah. This whole city. I love it. Okay.
LeBron doesn't want a fair world tour. He wants a fair world title.
Good stuff. All right, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. And remember, a lot of great cities out there, but LA is the city of champions.